Hello, welcome to Joy News Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, there's our power challenges to worsen as car power threatens to shut down its plants within 7 days over a $371 million debt.
The power sector will collapse. Yesterday, I received a letter from Car Power. They are threatening to shut the plant in 7 days.
Why?
Unpaid bills that we inherited. We've been trying every way we can to engage them so that they will give us some briefing space. But they simply will not budge.
We'll hear more from the Energy Minister, who is assuring he'll fix the problems. Also coming on our desk, Attorney General uncovers 1.5 million monthly internet payment by Ghana Water Company Limited to the former Signals Bureau boss's private company. And the chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party takes a break for the party's thank you tour. We have these plus some business updates coming on our desk. Do stay for details. And we start from power challenges in the energy sector on the verge of deepening as Car Powership, one of the country's key gas supplies, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to shut down operations over a $371 million debt. The threat comes amid a broader financial strain on the energy sector, which is currently burdened with over 80 billion cedi debt. Energy Minister John Jinapor, speaking on PM Express last night, confirmed that the country's current power challenges could deteriorate further if car power debt remains unresolved.
Today, the sector debt, in terms of what we call total energy sector debt, is over 80 billion. So you're talking of 80 billion, and it's mounting. If we do not take time, one day, the power sector will collapse. Yesterday, I received a letter from Car Power. They are threatening to shut the plant in 7 days.
Why?
Unpaid bills that we inherited. We've been trying every way we can to engage them so that they will give us some briefing space. But they simply will not budge. And as you can see, these are the debt portfolio. Asogli, 297 million.
That's what you're
Senate, 220 million. Yes. Sen Power, 423 million. Car Power, 371 million. If you add all of them, 1.7 billion US dollars. That's what we've inherited.
And how much of this have you paid since you took it?
So far, we've paid NGAS some money. I think we've given them about 30 million. We are meeting Car Power on the 2nd with the finance minister to see if we can get some money for them. We've paid WAPCO some money because when we came, they had blocked part of the pipeline. They've opened it. And as a new government, you need to mobilize resources. They've even drawn down on the World Bank guarantee, the partial risk guarantee of 500 million.
Already?
It's been drawn to 50 million.
When was that withdrawn?
It was withdrawn before we took office. The Letasco guarantee, about 170 million, that has also been drawn down. So now our oil, that would have sold to generate revenue to grow the economy, they've had to take that oil in order to repay.
Was that part of the agreement we signed with them that if you are not to pay, they can rely
They'll
on
take
the
our oil? Yes.
Oil revenue?
That is it.
How are they accessing it? I mean, how does it work exactly?
They take the oil, they sell it.
Oh, so
use the money.
the oil we are entitled to,
They lift it.
they lift it,
They lift
sell,
it and sell.
and then they would knock off what?
Yes. But you see, we've done a first quarter, so we now appreciate and have a full overview of the challenges.
I mean, how many liftings have they done so far? This is a fascinating revelation. I thought that, sovereign guarantee is what they've already will draw down, and that should be it. But they're actually lifting our oil.
Yes, but once they draw down on the guarantee, it becomes debt. You have to service that debt.
Yes.
Somebody has to pay for that debt. How do you pay for it? They use your oil.
Well, Mr. Jinapor has also rejected claims that government is selling the electricity company of Ghana. Instead, he said Cabinet has chosen a concession model to bring in private sector players efficiency without giving up state ownership.
We've gone to Cabinet. Cabinet has chosen the option of concession. We are not selling ECG, and let me put this on record.
So that decision has now been made?
It's been made. We are not selling ECG. Far from that. And so ignore the misinformation, ignore the misconception. Cabinet has taken a definitive position that we require some level of private sector participation, but not to sell the company outright. So what are we talking about? And I try to put it simple. ECG will remain the holding company. So ECG has this room as ECG operational area. They divide it into 4-3. Ruler company, you take one. Yours is to manage that sector or that geographical area. At the end of the month, we check how much power came to you. Just hypothetically, maybe 20 megawatts. And so we check the gigawatt hours that you consumed. And we say that this is the price. Pay us. You pay ECG. How you collect the money is your cup of tea.
So you have to pay ECG upfront?
No, you put a deposit or a guarantee.
Okay.
So you put a guarantee because before you can qualify, we're going to have what you call RFQ, which is request for qualification. So that we sieve off some companies and have top-notch companies through a competitive process. Then you go to what you call an RFP, request for proposal. Then based on those proposals and based on the criteria, we eventually select the concessionaires. So that concessionaire or that company must have capacity, which includes financial capacity, technical capacity, and all the issues we are talking of. And so it's not like go and get some friends to come and take a contract. We're taking a transaction advisor. Competitive bidding, competitive process. So that we'll get a very good company. So simply put, what we are going to do is to buy ball power from ECG and sell.
So ECG is guaranteed your money?
Yes.
And then it is you, this private player, it's your job to go and sell what you pay ECG.
That is your job.
ECG needn't bother about...
No, about how you collect the money. ECG's concern should be that I give you X amount of power. PURC's concern is that this is the price we've guaranteed for you. You can't charge above that. Your duty is to sell that power, one. Your duty is to collect that power in terms of the money and put it in a dedicated account. ECG takes its, whatever is left is yours.
Well, the Energy Minister has also responded to the ongoing erratic power supply, taking full responsibility for the situation and assuring Ghanaians that efforts are underway to resolve the challenges.
If the roads are bad, people are unhappy. If water does not flow, people are unhappy. But in the night when the lights go out, people get very upset and angry. That's what I've seen. And so, naturally, people want to see the lights on, which is expected. And so that is one of the major problems. And it's something we inherited as well. In fact, as far back as December, when we were about going into the election, and that was the last month of the MPP administration, they were shedding about 500 megawatts of power. And if you look at the whole of 2024, virtually every month, not virtually, every month, there was load shedding. To the extent that, it got so heated that the minister came under fire. And so I'm aware of that. And so these few days, because of the rains and other things, as the system gets a bit unstable, you also come under heat. And as minister, even when ECG commits a mistake, nobody knows the ECG MD. When the PURC commits some mistake or they do something, nobody even knows who the executive secretary of the PURC is. The same with Energy Commission, the same with Gridco, VRA, all these are value chain. What they know is that there's a minister appointed by the president to superintend over the sector. And so legitimately so, the people of Ghana would always hold the minister responsible. And I take full responsibility for that.
And by extension, the president.
Yes,
and who hold you accountable if something happens.
Absolutely.
And that was Energy Minister John Jinapor giving updates in the sector. Moving on, Attorney General Dominic Ayine has revealed more shocking details of how Ghana Water Company Limited illegally paid 1.5 million Ghana cedis to a private company owned by former National Signals Bureau Director General Kwabena Eduboahin for internet services. At a press conference on Wednesday, the Attorney General detailed how the Ghana Water Company Limited was systematically defrauded to the tune of 62 million cedis through an elaborate scheme involving the NSB's former director.
I informed you then that meticulous investigations undertaken by the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, otherwise known as EOCO, had uncovered a scheme that Mr. Edubohin set up, which resulted in the loss of 49,100,000 Ghana cedis, or at the prevailing exchange rate in February and March 2020, when the crime took place, the equivalent of 7 million United States of American dollars. At today's exchange rate, this will be 108,500,000 Ghana cedis. That is the cost of one Agenda 111 hospital going into one person's pocket. I can now confirm that at the conclusion of our investigations, that is exactly how much he stole from the taxpayers of this our beloved country. In consequence, and in exercise of the power conferred on me under Article 88 of the Constitution, I have today filed charges against Mr. Edubohin, his wife Angela Ajay-Boateng, one Mildred Donko, a former employee of UMB Bank, who resigned just in time to join in the criminal enterprise, and a company called Advantage Solutions Limited, a holding company owned by Mr. Edubohin and his wife, which received a substantial portion of the funds and was used as a conduit for funneling the funds into other companies owned by them. These other companies are Vertex Properties Limited, Vertex Solutions, and of course, the famous BNC Communications Bureau Limited, which was, if you remember, that was a vehicle that was used to steal the 49,100,000 Ghana cedis from the national security accounts. Based on the evidence on the docket, we have charged Mr. Edubohin with stealing, 3 counts of stealing, 1 count of defrauding by false pretenses, another count of willfully causing financial loss to the state, another count of using public office for profit and money laundering. His wife, Angela Ajay-Boateng, has been charged with conspiracy to steal, collaboration to commit the crime of using public office for private benefit or profit, conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. In the case of Mildred Donko, we have charged her with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering. The same goes for the company known as Advantage Solutions.
Well, in all, there were 11 charges against Mr. Edubohin and his wife, and let's familiarize ourselves with those particular charges. 1, stealing contrary to Section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. 2, stealing contrary to Section 124 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Stealing contrary to Section 124(1) of the Criminal Offences Act, conspiracy to steal contrary to Sections 23(1) and 124(1) of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Also, defrauding by false pretenses contrary to Section 131, Clause 1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, willfully causing financial loss to the state contrary to Section 179(3)(a) of the Criminal Offences Act, and then using public office for profit contrary to Section 179(c)(a) of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29. Also, we have on your screens collaboration to commit a crime, to wit, using public office for profit contrary to Section 179C, paragraph B of the Criminal Offences Act, and also obtaining public property by false statements contrary to Section 5 of the Public Property Protection Act 1977, SMCD 140. Then money laundering contrary to Section 12C of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 Act 1044, and lastly, conspiracy to commit money laundering contrary to Section 3 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 Act 1044. Well, our legal affairs correspondent, Latif Idris, sought a response from counsel for Kwabena Dubois Atacha. Watch this.
I'll try reaching you again. I'll try. All right, I know you said you don't want to talk, but
any comments on what has happened today?
No comment, boss. So that I don't misbehave. The judge says we should come Friday for the Attorney General to show whether there are any residual investigations to be done, because he's insisting that Kwabena Dubois should be remanded.
because they have some surveillance that shows that he's trying to interfere with investigations.
That is his say so. That is his say so.
You don't believe that?
At all.
Okay.
Wish you the best.
Officer.
Well, let's talk May Day next. President John Mahama says government is working to strengthen trade relationships both regionally and internationally to open new markets for the export of Ghanaian goods and services by implementing various economic initiatives, including the 24-hour economy. This is contained in his May Day message that just dropped. Let me run you through that speech. And he says, today is a special day for our gallant workers. On behalf of the people of Ghana, I celebrate your tireless efforts, dedication, and contributions to our progress as a country and people. This year's May Day celebrations theme, striving for peace and stability to drive industrialization, trade, and decent work for social justice, reflects a critical truth: the need to implement policies to ensure sustainable development and the realization of decent work and wages for all Ghanaians. My government recognizes and deeply values the pivotal role of the Ghanaian worker in driving our national development agenda. You are the engine of our economy, the builders of our infrastructure, and the innovators who propel us forward. I am therefore committed to creating a supportive environment that allows you to thrive and help reset Ghana. Over the last 4 months, the government has been actively pursuing policies to stabilize the economy, promote industrialization, focusing on adding value to our raw materials and creating new jobs in light industries, manufacturing and related sectors. We're also working to strengthen our trade relationships, both regionally and internationally, to open new markets for the export of Ghanaian goods and services by implementing various economic initiatives, including the 24-hour economy. Of my 120-day social contract with the good people of Ghana, we remain dedicated to ensuring decent work for all Ghanaians. This means fair wages, safe working conditions, opportunities for training and skills development, and the protection of workers' rights. Only yesterday, the National Youth Authority launched the National Apprenticeship Program, closely following the introduction of the Ejumara and 1 Million Coders programs, which are part of our strategic interventions to create opportunities for decent jobs. He goes on to say government is committed to strengthening labor laws, enforcing occupational safety, and health regulations and promoting social dialogue between employers and employees. Of course, he recognizes that inflation, unemployment, and inadequate infrastructure are challenges, but the government is determined to address these challenges head-on as we build Ghana together. And we are investing in education and skills training to equip our workforce with the necessary tools to succeed in a modern economy. We're working to improve our infrastructure, including roads and energy, to facilitate trade and economic growth. And he says, let us all employers and employees commit to fostering a spirit of collaboration, understanding, and mutual respect. Let us work together to create a more prosperous and equitable Ghana, where every citizen can contribute their talents and skills to national development. Happy Workers' Day. And that was a statement from the President, John Dramani Mahama. Well, this year's May Day celebration is themed striving for peace and stability to drive industrialization, trade, and decent work for social justice. And Employment Minister Dr. Rashid Pelpu has also been addressing the Ghanaian worker.
I bring you greetings on this very important day today, the May Day, which is Workers' Day. On this day, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all Ghanaian workers whose dedication, resilience, and hard work continue to drive our nation forward. As we commemorate Labor Day, let us reflect on the progress we have made together and renew our collective commitment to decent work, fair wages, and safe working conditions for all. The government remains steadfast in advancing policies that promote job creation, protect workers' rights, and ensure dignity in labor, especially in a rapidly changing world of work. Happy Labor Day to every worker across Ghana. Your contribution is a backbone of our development. Afishapa, and God bless you all as you move our nation forward and give us the development we require, especially in a situation where we are resetting this country. We wish you the best. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Adobe Asari has been engaging market women at Malamata Market and some drivers at Agbubulushi Lorry Station on May Day.
Good afternoon. Your friend was saying?
My friend is Priscilla.
Oh, okay, Priscilla. Patrol, what on Keke drove how many years?
My son bear 5 years.
Okay, I didn't know ya or backroom have beton wade.
Oh, my backroom beton wade they share my family members. Any me younger son.
Now they be tell me now, sorry.
Time I mean you Monday, na me sorry bear 4:30. My see na my 5 for them. Me sorry 6:37. And I am sorry.
What for your phone, but still was all beton wade.
It's all beton wade because me won't call or Masudi or send me show muso. It's definitely next me ba. But sometimes when say about the name koye dia, member me to be twice or thrice a week.
But time now on fire phone you know. What ba market are not well him say what brain and so still buy.
Me ba. Because me get ankola, me wasudi o wonte say me ba.
Say ankola na te was say buy
say ba.
Nyami sure yeah that's baby. So that's Priscilla. She sells spices, ginger, hibiscus leaves, and kete, pepper, rosemary. I see garlic, among so many other things. So she says before she got pregnant, she was coming to the market 4:30, 3:30. I mean, she was coming to market at dawn. But now that she's pregnant, she comes around 5. But that's still early. That's still very early.
Me started on there one. Na me shot. I thought there was actually pa. Me to be solid 12 and I draw. A coffee and you may be 10. Me to be solid 1. Me to be solid 2. Time be me to be solid.
But your body any kokona na waton sa.
Bunch of body any abe. And one I'm name my many a yawa. Na mammy film. And I come into no one am here.
Now what by Juma now what bread and so still buy and now we are in a still buy.
Obra Crababa, a young canabrabo. abrabɔ ne yɛ den boafo ni hɔ a woyɛ den a wobɛba boafo ni hɔ de a wobɛba wabrɛ kora wobɛba woyare a wobɛba.
Me license 1970. Yeah, until me driving about 35 years now. So my driver check until me driving different kind of trucks. That this currently me driving truck.
Now distance ben ya oko.
Me running Kaswa Agboglusi Nyanya no Liberia camp. Ehona sisia me running.
Na nyama ben na emma to me eba eye adwuma. Sometimes when him say mutumi bre, adenti na still obe.
Yeah, the moment I was on the Nyankopon aboa ama wanya won san adwuma bi te say driving no. And you can say me kase me tra ho. Was say no na me ya me de hwe mabusua me de boa mabusua me nkwala. Eno nti the moment I me wa hon de adwuma no mekoso ara ye den aye e hye me nkran say me ye den me ye driving adwuma. Eno na me wo mu a me ye eno na hye me nkran eno na me ye e de den edididi. Yeah.
So while we are at it, his car is loaded and is about to set off, so he has to take leave of us. But Uncle David here says he's been driving for about 35 years, and what keeps him going is his responsibility as the man of the house, as a father. He has to take care of his children, his wife, and his strength comes from the Almighty God. And how long have you been driving?
For 45 years now.
Wow. Why do you drive? And it means you must really love the job.
I think it's my hobby and my destiny. So I feel proud when I'm driving. Yeah. And through driving, I've been able to look after my kids well. Yeah.
So let me ask you, do you have fears? Have you ever had any fear as a driver in your life?
So many times, especially when I try to escape some accidents. There will be fear, panic before you through that. You are able to escape it.
So despite all these fears, what is that one thing that keeps you moving forward, that causes you to show up all the time?
It's all courage. If you have the courage and the love of the job, I think there's no problem about it. You go on it. You can't say because my child died through a river, I will not drink water.
Well, the official event to mark the day is coming off at the Independence Square, where we understand the president will be present and other dignitaries. We'll go there shortly when the event commences officially. Continuing, National Chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party has taken a break from the party's thank you tour. A statement from the party's Director of Communication reads that the New Patriotic Party wishes to inform all members and the public that the National Chairman has taken a short break from the ongoing nationwide thank you tour to attend to some pressing matters. The chairman remains fully committed to the tour and will rejoin the team in due course. The party appreciates all members' continued support, enthusiasm, unwavering commitment and cooperation. Moving on, more than 1,500 people displaced 2 months ago in renewed chieftaincy violence in two communities in the Bumpurgu-Nampanduri district are still unable to return to their homes. The two communities, Nanik and Ingama Brook, were completely burned in February, forcing residents to flee to hide in farmlands and unknown bushes. Ilyasu Tanko reports.
The two communities were attacked and destroyed separately in February 2 months ago. Firstly, at Ngamaborok, which is near Bindi along the Nakpanduru Bumpurgu road. The attack occurred on February 5th and 8th, 2025, following renewed land and chieftaincy disagreement between members of the two mobile clans in the community. Members of one of the clans returning from a chieftaincy installation ceremony on February 8th were said to have been attacked on their way by unidentified armed men. In retaliation, the community was surrounded and overrun by armed attackers. The attackers burned down the whole community of about 286 households and large quantities of food stocks. When Joy News visited the community a few days ago, it remained a ghost town, with the displaced residents now hiding out in their far-flung farmlands and unknown bushes. Coincidentally, some of the residents had come to check on their damaged properties at the time Joy News was in the community, and we caught up with them.
Yada Euro Mbana Temi Uro ma Dianinashi Mbana Uro ma no mania Mongo Kras, ya Mongo Kaka Kraba, no Madia Blay Euro. Unse Euro Muna Eflebaya Etia.
Now Crano so Mudia and now Muede.
Dear Mongo no Mede Bana Miansa, yet me Yiba Okra Naya de Mankwa Naya de Ochinia.
They called on the government to come to their aid. Joy News also visited the Nani community, which was attacked on the 28th of the same month of February by unknown armed men believed to have come from the nearby Bimbago community. The community was attacked and all its 176 houses completely burned down following renewed tension over the controversial elevation of the Nanik chieftaincy skin to paramountcy status. 6 people were killed, including a non-native teacher, and 4 others were injured. Public services, including education and healthcare delivery, remain unavailable in the areas. According to figures from NADMO, a total of 1,642 people, including women and children, were displaced in both violence. The district chief executive for the area, Joseph Lacher, confirmed to Joy News that the displaced residents are yet to return to their homes 2 months after the attacks.
Do you know where the residents, those that have fled in these 2 communities, where they are currently?
Frankly speaking, the hearsay had it that most of them are staying in the bush. They are not living in any community. They just went to the bush, created their own camp, and they are living there. I'm here to actually find out where they are so that I'll visit them.
More worryingly, the DCE said efforts are now underway to locate the hideout of the displaced victims and bring them back to their communities.
It is a misfeeling. The best or one of the options is that I thank God that I've come to solve a problem that maybe wouldn't have been easy to solve. And I know with God grace it won't be a magic problem I'll solve and bring them home. That's the first listen. But the second, imagine under this weather, with these mosquitoes, and the rain threatening to come, then women and children living in bush. You don't know where they are living. In fact, it's something that when you think about it, you can't even say. You're not able to say, how can you sleep under that condition?
The DC also added that as part of measures for a lasting solution to the recurring chieftaincy disturbances in the region, he will advise the regional traditional authorities to codify all chieftaincy succession plans in the region. From Bunkurugu, Ilyas Sotanko reporting for Joy News.
Well, Ghana's poultry industry is at a crossroads with existing farms fighting to survive amid skyrocketing feed prices, deadly heat waves, and a flood of cheap foreign chicken. With government's Feed Ghana program under scrutiny, farmers in Techiman demand action to save jobs and stop a $300 million import drain, Anasa Beat reports.
Ghana's poultry sector has faced a significant decline due to factors like high production costs and the influx of cheap imported chicken. This has led to a large number of poultry farms closing down or reducing operations. The situation is entirely different here at Green Generation Farms, a shining example of Ghanaian resilience. With 84,000 beds and 120 jobs, this farm is proof that local poultry can thrive. But as Administrator Seth Jenfi tells me, Survival here is a daily struggle against forces far beyond their control.
Feed constitutes 65% of our production cost. We almost do 10 tons a day, which costs us about 70,000 per day. Because 1 ton costs us 7,000 Ghana cedis a day, because of the capacity of the farm.
Feed costs have skyrocketed by nearly 40% this year alone. A bag of maize now sells at 350 Ghana cedis, up from the previous 260 Ghana cedis. Same applies to soya and other feed supplements.
For the past years, we are buying maize at 265 cedis, but currently maize is 350 Ghana cedis, and the soya also for the past years we are buying it 300 cedis, but now 400, 450. So it means that production costs have increased, and it is affecting we the farmers.
With government launching its famous Nkokon policy, which constitutes part of the Feed Ghana program, Seth is optimistic that the farm's capacity of 150,000 birds can be achieved, a move that would help employ more hands and in turn reduce youth unemployment in the area.
So under the Feed Ghana project that our president has introduced, as green generation farms, we are having capacity of 150,000, which can also grow into 200,000 capacity. We want to plead on the government that we should also look to the green generation farms, because we believe that when the government supply us with the Nkokon and also the maize, or even give us money to support our business, we can employ more people so that the country will be able to solve the unemployment program in the country.
But the challenge isn't only feed costs. Climate change is cracking their eggs literally. Farm manager of Philippine Richard says erratic temperatures are slashing egg production by nearly 25%.
Climate change is affecting production because currently when the heat is on, the birds cannot really survive the heat because birds don't really sweat. So in that instance, egg production really goes down.
Management here have, however, taken a bold step of planting more trees in and around the farms to help minimize the rising temperatures during hot weathers.
Locally, what JGF is doing is that we are trying to plant trees in the farms to make sure that during the heat season, we'll still have a very cool weather for the birds to be able to survive and then to be able to drink enough water for production to go up so that we can get what we need.
The difficulties poultry farmers go through do not only end at the farm gates. It affects all, including egg trade.